See which angle.
Hello, Melissa Ocho, Latoya,
Starting now.
Mitchie Lawrence, KB Johnson, Truth Never Fails, Beloved Princess, Introverted Virgo, Drunk Again Meek, Chocolate Passion, Natural 76. Hello, all, and welcome to the building. QI Critical Thinking in the building. Peace, family. Of course, you know this is QI Critical Thinking, and today um, I'm going to start off by introducing my co-host for today and my collab partner, Jay Dunn. Jay Dunn, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's going on, peeps? What's good? Y'all know I just be everywhere. I just pop up everywhere. But either way, I'm over here to co-host, ask some questions, and talk about LGBT things.
All right. And also, family, today we have a very, very, very good surprise for the family. We've been saying that we wanted to bring some more information about the lesbian community of the LGBT community. So today we have a very, very special guest and a surprise. Today we have a beautiful member of the LGBTQ community. Um, Her name is BB Nice, and she's here to share her story. So I'm gonna let BB Nice introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. BB Nice. I'll be in your chats too, spreading love.
And this is today what BB Nice is going to talk about, or what we're interviewing, or pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to hear her story of how she came about being a lesbian. Like a lot of people, they know that, they know like when we become a lesbian that we're lesbians, but they don't know the process that it takes. And of course, people don't know like all of the growing pains and all of the things that we have to go through in terms of, the process. So today we have one account, a beautiful story from BB Nice telling, like basically what she had, basically what she experienced throughout her process. So BB Nice, I'm going to let you have the floor. And from time to time, we may ask some questions as well. Give me just 1 second, BB Nice as well. Let me just speak to Diva D, Christy Love, Wildflower Wisdom, It's Sister 47, Chrisette. Hello, all. Thank y'all for coming. And don't forget to smash that like button, share, and subscribe. As well, after the interview, we're gonna open up the chat. We're gonna get some questions from the chat. So if anyone has any Halito Choctaw Indian, so if anybody has any questions, I'm gonna let you know about 5 minutes before, and just post your questions in the chat, and we'll answer them. Pretty much close to the end of her story, the end of her interview. So I'm going to now let the beautiful reigning, as they say in the community, BB Nice, have the floor, and go ahead and tell us what you're working with.
Okay, so as you know, I am a part of the community now. I have been for 3.5 years. But it didn't start that way. I was married to a man for 14 years. And, out of that, I have 4 children. One with I had coming into the marriage, and then I had 3 more with him. And throughout our marriage, on the outside, everything looked perfect. It was picture perfect. We had the best family, beautiful family. They always seen us together. They always seen us doing things, never seen anything out of the ordinary in our family. However, for 14 years, I struggled with something. I did not I love my husband, and but I was not sexually attracted to him. Our intimacy was always an issue from the beginning. And what I had to learn to do, because I blamed myself for that, because I felt like I went through a lot of experiences with different guys, and now that a good guy come along, I can't satisfy him the way I felt like he deserves. So what I did was I pushed all my issues, and I did my pros and my cons, and the good outweighed the bad. So I thought sex wasn't a big issue, and that wasn't going to mess up our relationship. So I did everything that I could for 14 years. We never broke up, nothing. Everything to satisfy him. And that led to me drinking, smoking, partying, just to like numb myself to be able to be intimate with my husband. He didn't know this. Well, he knew I had issues, but he really didn't really understand it. And I did this for a long time, in between the kids, before and after the kids, until I was just tired. In between time, he started stepping out on me. I was stepping out on him. It was a mess. But again, outside it was picture perfect. Nobody would ever have assumed that's what we was doing on the inside. So I met about in our, I guess in our 14th year, I met somebody, and like she just knocked me off my feet. I'm not gonna even lie. Like I just loved everything about her. Like from the look to the how she act, everything, our conversations, everything was I was attracted to her with this. And one night I got caught. And I could have lied. I could have, came up with something. It wasn't hard because I've done it in the past. But honestly, I don't know what happened. I just told him, I said, look, I met somebody and I like them. And he, it like shocked him. Like, what you mean you met somebody? And I said it. I met somebody and I really like this person. So initially he thought, oh, I said, yeah, and it's a girl. So his macho part kicked in and he was like, oh, well, I always like the girls too. But I was like, no, it's not that type of party. So his whole face just turned to a frown, like, what the fuck you mean? Like, what is this? So we had conversation after conversation. He couldn't understand it. This going on for weeks. Meanwhile, I'm still involved with my woman. Now, when I met her, I literally stopped having sex with my husband altogether. I just came up with every excuse in the book. No, my stomach hurt. I'm cramping. I don't feel good. I got a headache. The kids, everything that I could until I couldn't do it no more. Because my girlfriend is a butch woman and she did not deal with bisexual women. And I respect that because I would never want to be dealing with a woman and her going after a man. It's wrong, it's nasty. So once we got intimate, I stopped messing with my husband. So, well, it is a long story, but meanwhile, my father got sick. He lived in Florida. So I'm still battling. I'm dating a woman. I'm still married. My husband know about her. He's not happy, but he's still trying to make it work with me and him. And at that time, I'm confused. I don't know which way I want to go. I don't know if I should throw myself on a limb. All I know is I was tired of hiding. It was exhausting. And now I finally am able to be who I want to be. It felt really, really good. This is what I wanted to do. So I went to Florida to bury my father. My father passed away in September. I went to bury him. And I didn't know my father. I had just met him. And me going to Florida, I met his family and everything. And his wife took it upon herself to vent to me. And every day she would tell me more and more about my father, things he did. And come to find out, literally, he's in Florida and I'm in Jersey. And we live in the same type of life, destroying our family. And he literally had a whole nother family on her. He had other kids, and she was like really venting and sobbing to me with all these stories. And the one thing that stuck in my head that she kept saying was, if you're going to cheat, leave. I wish he just would have left. He should have left. He destroyed, my family will never be the same again because he didn't leave. And a red flag popped in my head. It was like, God made this happen because I needed to change my life. Either I was going to stay or leave because I did not want to end up like that. So at that point, I decided when I got home, I was going to break that down to my husband. When I got home, I did just that. He picked me up from the airport. We went to get something to eat. And I told him, I sat him down and I said, look, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. And we can't be together like this.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay. The question I have is, did like after you told your husband that you were dating a woman, did he try harder to keep your relationship together? Like, did he do extra special things?
Um. So my husband never stopped doing things. Like I said, on in the surface, he was like the perfect husband. We didn't lack in really anything, but one thing we were good at is was sneaking. So he didn't. It wasn't like he stopped doing anything anyway. So it wasn't nothing extra he needed to do. He just decided. He just said, "I want my family. I want to keep my family." And at that point, I was kind of confused. Like I didn't want to hurt my kids. Like my children are everything to me. I didn't want to hurt them, but I knew that because one thing for sure, kids are not stupid. And in between time, they're seeing us bicker. They're seeing us arguing. They're not saying anything. They're noticing how I'm going out more. He's going out more. They're no kids notice things, and so I realized that I was kind of we were just hurting each other living this way, and I just didn't want to no more. I really didn't. And then watching the end result with my dad, that to me was like God saying, look, either fix it or your life is going to be like that, because over there it's rough. And I always was kind of sad because I didn't have my father in my life, but they had him and turned out very, very like hurt and all types of stuff, not to put their business out there, but he did more bad than good with his family. So it was like I just didn't want to do that. So I had to just let him know what it was. And I didn't want to leave. I was going to stay home until I was really able to go out and get my own place and stuff. But it started getting to the point where I guess he was angry and he wanted to show me, like, you're going to make a choice and it's going to be me. So he started kind of like being disrespectful to a certain degree. If I tell him that don't touch me, he'll be like, I'm going to touch you. You're my wife. You can't fucking tell me not to touch you. And it got to the point where I felt violated, and I'm like, no, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, what made you stay in that marriage for 14 years? Like, was it religious reasons or was it just for the family sake? Why did you
It
stay? You
it
knew
was
you weren't
both.
happy.
It was both. Number one, I was raised by my mother, solely by my mother and my grandmother. I didn't have a father. So to me, and my ideal was I never wanted my kids to experience that, because I felt like I went through a lot of things not having a man around that I think a man is pertinent for, especially for girls to have. That was one. Two, I'm laying down having these babies. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't. Three, we had a good relationship. Like I said, we were good friends. We had everything in common. We did a lot of things. We liked doing a lot of things. It was just that one thing that was messed up. And at the time, I always thought something was wrong with me. I really thought, like, bitch, why you can't get it together? What is wrong with you? Why you not attracted to this man? He do everything for you. Why wouldn't you be? And I couldn't get it there. Like, it just wasn't genuine. It
Mhm.
was forced. And also, because I dated women before him. And like when I was like 23, 24 years old, I had a girlfriend. And my brother, he's older than me. My brother's like 12 and 13 years older than me. He's gay. And I remember coming to him and like, bragging, like, I got a girlfriend, I'm gay. And my brother cursed me out real bad. Like, as much as my lifestyle, you have never seen me throwing that out there saying I'm gay. Like, it's not cute. You can't be running around here saying stuff like that. When he did that, he scared me. He made me feel like, all right, maybe it's not good to be that way. So I kept it a secret. I didn't tell anybody. And I was just trying to look for what I thought was right, what I thought was normal. And being with a man was it, because that's what everybody around me was doing. I
Okay,
never, yeah.
I have a question. Okay, you said your brother. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
like how supportive exactly was your brother, or how unsupportive exactly was your brother? And if you could elaborate and give a few details about that.
You mean now or then?
You could, you can.
Well, then he was not supportive. He told me to stop talk. He said, "You don't know what the fuck you are, so stop running around saying that." And in a way, he was right, because right after that relationship that lasted for like maybe a year or two, I was back with men. And so in hindsight, he was right. But and we never spoke about it again. My brothers don't judge me. We don't judge each other. We don't come from that family, because it's a lot of it's a lot of gay men and lesbian women in my family. And we've never ever been made to feel different, feel uncomfortable, nothing. But we don't go around broadcasting it. We don't go around saying, "Yeah, I smashed this," and then we don't do that either.
So when you say broadcasting, are it's like you're out. You're
We know, everybody know. My brother. The only thing is, my brother, I've never seen him with a man. I've never seen him with
out.
a significant other. Never. But the
Why
women we've all seen, they always bring their girlfriends around.
why do you think? Okay, I have a question after that as well. But why do you think your brother is like that? From your own observation or from your own opinion.
Because back then it wasn't accepted, and he's been so used to hiding it that it's natural for him now. And I don't honestly think he is, I ain't gonna say he ashamed of it, but kind of, sort of, because he do not bring anybody around. I have never ever met a man with my brother, and I know that he's gay.
Hmm. You have any questions, Jay?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think for men, it it's the most obvious part of them most of the time, but they have to hide it so much.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like as women, you can pass, so to speak. Even
Hmm.
if you can pass and you don't have to answer as many questions. I feel like you don't get too much harassment, so to speak. Whereas with men, it's a different story. And it starts deep, even at childhood for them. If they
Hmm.
happen to be more feminine, more flamboyant, things like that. And I believe that that in itself can be a reason to make somebody go into a shell like that, especially at his age.
Well, I
And
just
I really think my brother, another thing too, I have two brothers and they're close in age. They're literally not even a year apart. And they were best friends for until I was like maybe 12. And I remember being young, watching my gay brother date women. Like, they were best friends. And the minute my brother came out, they turned into the worst enemies.
wow.
Like,
Oh well.
they hated each other. They fought all the time. I mean, for years. Now we're all in a good place, time heals. But I just remember those times when my brother hated him. My oldest brother always said something was wrong with him. And that's really how he feels. But God always finds a way to humble you, because his daughter turned out to be a lesbian, so he had to start accepting things that he couldn't understand. So it
Mhm.
made him a better person,
Got
with that.
and, and like for the other women that are in your family that are also lesbians, are they like feminine lesbians, or are they like
No, they're aggressors, like they're butch.
so that explains why they all. And did that make you feel better? Like, was that more comforting for you?
Well, it wasn't. No, I'm not gonna say it was comforting. It was just familiar, because my niece, when she came out, I already knew, but when she came out, her mother didn't accept her, kicked her out. She lived with me for that. And I accepted, I always accepted, because it was familiar to me. My mother never kicked my brother out. We just never did that. So, I accepted it anyway. Now, did they accept me? When I really said, look, I'm a lesbian, my niece was like, get the fuck out of here. You're lying. She couldn't believe it. Like, no.
And why do you think they were like that towards you versus the other people?
Because they watched me date men.
And so they just weren't convinced that,
No. They just like, no. But they just didn't know. I never shared, like, I never really shared this with no one, how I really, really felt. And, so nobody really was convinced. But it's been 3.5, almost 4 years in. And I don't want, I'm not saying nothing's wrong with it. To each his own. Whoever like men, like them. I just don't. And I don't know, it might be some other type of issues going on with me that I'm not even aware of. I'm just not attracted to it.
Now, do you think that there was somewhat like judgment with you or disbelief with your family because you were feminine and the other ones in your family were actually more masculine? Like, do you feel like they were more biased just because they didn't expect you?
I'm not gonna say they were judgmental or biased. They just was more like shocked. Like, really? It's not, how when other people come out, you be like, yeah, I kind of figured that. That's not what I got. It was just like, really?
Right.
And why? And I'm like, what do you mean? Why not? Like, what? And that's the part they don't know is how I suffered. Like, I used to, honestly, and this is the God honest truth. I used to be intimate with my husband, and you know how you get up to freshen up or go and wash up or whatever after y'all do. And I used to look myself in the mirror and be like, I hate myself. I hate that I got to do this shit every night. And I mean, I used to go through it in the bathrooms by myself because I hated what I had to do to please him. And it wasn't his fault. It was just something I was fighting with.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take a few questions because there's some good questions, and I think they're gonna come earlier. The first question is, well, I'm gonna save the first question for later because I think you're gonna get into that later, and that's how is the relationship now with your lady. We'll save that for later.
Okay.
But the question that I want to ask is the one on the screen. It's like, so does all the siblings have children? And that's from Boss Lady. Shout out to Boss Lady Talk, New Jersey.
My brother, no, my brother that's gay does not have any children. My oldest brother has, he had 3 daughters. One of his daughters passed away. So yes, and then my 4.
Okay, and I'm gonna read this comment right quick. It's from Irene Thomas. It says, to me, a lot of people today are doing it like a trend thing or because that's what everybody is doing. This life is not to be played with, though, and all the labels has really made it confusing. And I want to just take one quick second, from each of us, since that the label thing came up, because I think that's a really good point. But I just want to take a minute, for each of us to give, a perspective on the labels, a general quick perspective. Jayden, what's your perspective on the label thing and the comment that Irene Thomas made?
As far as the labels go, I honestly don't believe in them. And I actually said this on I think I said this on my live last night, because I feel like a label actually entraps you and boxes you in. A label it makes people automatically assume certain things about you, automatically assume certain behaviors, certain emotions, certain things like that, to the point to where you are no longer looked at as an individual, but actually being defined by that label, even though, you might not even be that. Because, earlier on, I labeled myself as a stud until I realized people were trying to tell me how I'm supposed to behave and how I'm supposed to react or how I'm supposed to feel, these types of things. And so from that point, I backed off of labels. So I'm just Jay.
Okay, and what do you think about, do I need to put it back up? What do you think about that comment, BB Nice?
She's right. It is a lot, but again, another thing is a lot of women do it because they're hurt. They've been hurt by men. And they honestly think that, and that's one misconception that a lot of women going into this think. They get hurt by men and they think women are going to treat them better. They're going to understand them more. And they get into these relationships with these butch women just to find out, like, a lot of butch women kind of act like men, like, seriously. And they do the same thing. It's not going to be because I'm a woman, I'm going to understand your feelings more and I'm going to be more catered to you. That's what a lot of women make the mistake going into this doing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna speak real quickly on it as well. Like lately, like I'm sort of old school. So like back in my day, I was told that I was a stud, and that identity fits me perfectly. However, like here lately, since I've been on YouTube, and because of all of the false or not true expectations, the limits that we're talking about, place. I sort of feel like Jay Dunn, and I sort of feel like a lot of people, like at the end of the day, to me, the title, like stud, just tells what my sexual preference is. And it doesn't mean you can't sway, you can't, like, I prefer to give, but it does not mean that I can't receive.
And that's another thing too. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off too. Because women, like, I know a lot of women that date studs under thinking they're going to be like a man. And you guys are women, regardless of what you look like. Y'all are women. Y'all have feelings like women. Y'all still want to be treated good. And women, I mean, some women get into these relationships thinking that y'all are dudes and thinking y'all going to treat them like a dude. And when they find out it's not like that, they can't handle that shit. They realize, like, this ain't the life for me. You have to really be attracted to a woman to
Mhm.
be in it, to be a lesbian. Seriously. Me myself, I never mind. I don't want to get too personal. But a young lady said they had a question. They didn't want to offend me. There is no question you could ask me that's going to offend me, because you will be surprised about when you hear the answer. You might be surprised. You might not. This is my story. This is my life. Everybody gonna have a different experience. Everybody has a different experience. So it's really nothing that can offend me. All I can say is I'm being as genuine and honest as I can. I'm not saying I did everything perfect. I'm not saying I'm doing everything perfect. I'm just know that I'm trying to do the best that I can to be happy in my skin.
And you can go ahead back with your story. And if you yourself see any questions that you feel free to answer anytime in the chat, it's on you. You can answer them. But just go back to
I mean, and so I decided to leave. Meanwhile, I had been having discussions with my kids, preparing them for this. Every morning when I took them to school, and I would tell them, me and daddy, we're not getting along. We still love each other, but we may not be together. And of course, I had million, dozen of one questions from my kids. But what I did explain to them is, look, we're adults, and I just want y'all to not think this is about y'all. I want y'all to take yourself out of it. Be kids. Don't worry about being an adult mess. This is me and daddy's thing. We have to figure this out. We love you. We're going to take care of you. We're going to make sure that you're happy. That's one thing you don't have to worry about. And I also explained to my girls, well, yeah, my girls, I let them know, look, I have to lead by example, and I never want y'all to be stuck in a situation where you're not happy. I don't want you to see mommy miserable and I'm staying just because. I needed you to know, you can change your narrative anytime you want. It depends on how you do it, and you don't try to intentionally hurt anyone. When you guys become an adult, y'all gonna make decisions that I'm not gonna like, but they're your decisions. I have to respect that. So I'm asking for the same in return now. And for the most part, my kids are not stupid. They understand. Um, when it came down to who they were going to live with, that was another issue. um of course I wanted my kids to stay with me, but he couldn't handle that. And it's like he told me later on, it was bad enough you left me. If you would have took my kids, it would have destroyed me. So I let the kids live with him. Although we are not far away from each other, we're like 4 to 5 blocks away from each other. So I still come there every day. I still take them to school, do their hair, everything I'm supposed to do as a mother. I was still doing it. I just wasn't sleeping there. I just don't sleep there. So and that was hard too. And then I started getting the questions from my kids. Well, mommy, who? Because I introduced them in a couple of months later. I introduced them to my girlfriend, and they was like, okay. My daughter was like, mommy, are y'all getting married? And I'm like, no. First of all, I'm still married to your father, but eventually, when me and your father are divorced, if I do decide to marry her, I may do that. And my son said, but she a girl. And I said, okay, but in this world, you love who you love. Girls may fall in love with girls. Boys may fall in love with boys. It's not about your sexuality. Is not about you being a man or versus a woman. It's about who you bond with and who you want to share your life with. So I don't want you to get caught up in that's the way it's supposed to do. That's traditional. Or, I don't want you to do that. So then he said, well, Pop said, you going gay people going to hell. And I said, Pop's a liar. Number one, God loves everyone. He loves his whores. He loves his thieves. He loves his crack addicts. He loves his gay people. He loves his lesbians. And I have never ever read in the Bible where he said Papa was supposed to judge me.
That was a good comeback. That was good.
So who is Pop? Is that
That's their father's father.
okay, the grandfather. Okay.
Right.
Hmm.
Because he's traditional, that he goes to church every week and he don't believe, we even had a conversation before because he was telling, my kids that, what I'm doing is not right. He gonna pray for me and stuff like that. So I had to have a conversation with him as well. And I told him, I respect you and everything, but I'm gonna need you to stay out of my bedroom because it has nothing to do with you. And if you can just respect that, we'll be in a better place. I think all people need to start respecting that a little more when they start judging. Stay out of people's personal bedroom. They're not invited. Nobody invited you there. Why are you in there? Stop
Yeah,
worrying about what I'm doing behind closed doors.
Fat.
I think that's always the biggest go-to with people and with people's families, which I don't get. Because even if you look at your life on a day-to-day basis in a heterosexual relationship, it ain't always bedroom. But for some
Right.
reason,
Right.
that's where
That's
people
they
go
just think,
first. That's
yeah,
where they
they
go
just think of
first.
all types of stuff going on with us around the kids, everything. Like I don't know what they really be thinking, but it'd be a mess. But once we got past that and stuff, it has been very smooth. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, my kids do better in school. They all bring home A's and B's. They're more sociable. Like their life has changed as well. Because another thing I did was I was in a motorcycle club. I had to cut that out too. That was taken away from what I needed to do in the house. I couldn't put all that on them. So I stopped going out socially all the time and trying to fit everything in to make everybody happy. And I just focused on my family because honestly, for once, I felt like I was complete. I was happy. I was in a happier space. So I no longer needed to go out to bars. I no longer needed to be here and there and everywhere because I was fine where I was at. I look forward to being home. That's something I didn't have before.
Okay, and I'm gonna stop for just a minute. It's a nice question. It's and it's for the panel. It's like, is depression and suicide rate high in the stud community? If so, what's your opinion on this matter, and what can family do to help their loved ones who suffer from depression?
I don't. That's a good question, but I've never even really took the time to research that, to think about that, to be honest. Because I guess because I don't believe in the labels. I believe that depression and suicide in the LGBTQ community as a whole is high, but I never really thought about it as far as do are studs more likely to be suicidal or have depression versus a film. I never really thought about it like that.
Me, I think that the I don't think it's I think women in this lifestyle, depression is not because of what they chose to be, it's what they went through to get there,
Mm-hmm.
or before they got there. That's where, and they don't for whatever reason, they don't tackle that. They don't get into it. They don't get counseling. Us as Black people, we don't believe in counseling. A lot of us don't believe in counseling.
Mhm.
So we do not share those things. We keep them bottled up, and you know, we hide them, and we do other things, like as myself, drink, smoke, party, just to hide who we are instead of actually talking about it.
Mm-hmm. And like my opinion is it, like BB Nice said, as well as Jay Dunn, I think it's depends on your background, how acceptable your family is. It depends on what type of environment you're in, whether it's a supportive environment or non-supportive environment. I would say that anybody, that faces a lot of discrimination and harassment would be more prone for suicide, and for depression, and possibly suicide. So, I think it depends on the experience. But I can say this. I am going to say this, and I just want to put this one perspective out here. This one thing, for studs, see, films are not so visible. So a lot of times, like, a lot of people can't tell that somebody is a lesbian when they're a femme or when they're feminine. Now, when you're a stud in the general population, well, you can see who we are. So a lot of times we're more prone or more subjected to harassment and discrimination when it comes down uh, to the general population or the general public. So, and a lot of times as well, a lot of men, they feel as though they're threatened.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like they're threatened because it's a lot of stereotypes that go along with that as well. But they're threatened by studs, and
Oh
it's
yes, because we where we live at, it's not a lot of lesbian like bars or lounges and stuff. So we wind up, when we do go out, we go to straight lounges and straight bars. And honestly, I will walk in first, and then she walk in. When I walk in, it's like everybody's grilling me down, like. But then they look at her, and literally, like, some like just get this look like, I know you're not with her, I know you ain't, or they'll put their head down, because my girlfriend got the look of death, and she be looking at them like, don't say nothing. And I used to question her about that, kind of get upset, like, why you always mean mugging? And she had to explain to me, like, you don't understand what it's like when you're with your woman and you feel disrespected.
mm-hmm,
Because to her, it's disrespectful. To me, it's a compliment.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're exactly right. A lot of men they purposely flirt with a woman when they see that she's in a relationship, with another woman in
Mm-hmm.
general,
Mm-hmm.
or even or a stud, and it is intimidating. I mean, it is not intimidating, but it is disrespectful,
It's
and it does,
disrespectful.
yeah, it does give us, like, some type of feelings. And a lot of times what's worse is that the feminine, counterpart, your mate, sometimes they place it on jealousy when it's not actually jealousy. It's like we know, especially if we experienced that before, we already know what they're trying to do. We already know that 9 times out of 10 they're trying to interfere with the, the relationship. And it's because a lot of men feel like it's a trophy, because that quote
Yep.
unquote, to flip a lesson.
Yep. Absolutely.
They think it's
And like, and then, I can honestly say for myself, I didn't see it as being disrespectful, and that's bad on me because I'm so used to getting that type of attention. I don't even realize it's not good attention. You understand?
Mhm.
I'm thinking it's cute, and it's really not. It's very disrespectful, but I'm so used to it. I can't understand her. Like, well, what's the problem? I had to literally put my foot in her shoes and really understand how it comes off and what it does to her.
One thing that I want to add about this topic as well, because again, I say I don't label myself, but I will say that I agree with what QI is saying. I agree with the point of view from your partner. I agree with the point of view from that. Even for me, y'all see me here, silly clowning or whatnot. But whenever I'm with my partner and we are in the presence of a man who might be trying to size me up, I have to tense up. Like I put some bass in his voice. You got
Yeah,
to be the protector. Like, wait a minute.
I
Like,
yeah.
I fought a lot of guys. I've gotten fired, like not even dealing with a woman, like dealing with a job. Because, like, although I've done most of my work has been corporate America, I had like from time to time, that gets mentally stressful. So, I would like I have a heavy machine operating license. So I would do something like, construction or, work in a plant, because it's not as mentally draining. And on a lot of those jobs, it's like because they saw that I was able to handle it. A lot of times, a lot of men, they would come up and they would, harass the heck out of me. You
Hmm.
harass the heck
Yeah,
out of me, and it would get to the point where I would end up having to get aggressive with them, even fight them back. I have lost a couple of those jobs, due to that.
right. What's I see a question up here. Do you think attitudes about the LGBTQ community depend on the regions where you live? I don't I don't really know. Where I'm from, we have it's a big mixture of both. So I've never seen anyone get dogged out. I've never seen anybody getting I've never seen women getting attacked by men. I'm not saying it don't happen. I've just never experienced it. Where there are a couple of um clubs that only cater to the LGBT, and those clubs, they are beautiful. The only problem is I'm an older woman, and me and my woman, we're older. They start at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. We don't have, I'm asleep at that time. So that's the only problem. That's why we wind up going to straight clubs more than that. But we have gone to some, and they are really nice. The atmosphere is good, the vibe is good, the music is good. It's really nice, and I really wish it was more in earlier times, that in our area, because I would rather go there than to go to a straight club, to be honest, because I just not comfortable there anymore.
Okay.
I now for me, I do think that the region matters, y'all. I do think that it matters.
Okay.
I feel like being from small town Mississippi, it made a difference. And then once I lived in New Orleans, it was so freeing. They have something called Southern Decadence that is something similar to the Labor Day Pride that's out here. And Southern Decadence is just like a Pride on Bourbon Street through the French Quarter. And that's different. And then even with Atlanta, same thing, different. You feel more open. There are more areas who are openly accepting of you. Like the one thing that wowed me in New Orleans when I first got there, to walk past like restaurants or bars that actually had the rainbow flag out there to let you know, hey, you are welcome in here. Like there are a lot of places that have that, and I think that makes a difference.
I have to,
Yeah.
because I've lived in Atlanta. I've lived in Atlanta, and woo, that like I actually came out in Atlanta, and I think that saved my life. You know, that was the best thing possible, because it's like after you have that Atlanta experience, then it's like you don't care. You know, it's like you get a true sense of being who you are, and you're fine, because there's no way in Atlanta that you can have any hangups. And like I really didn't get any of the discrimination until like after, like, you know, maybe coming to Mississippi, coming to Mississippi, or other, different places that
Mhm,
are not so open-minded. But yeah, you're right. It does depend on region and how open they are, and whether it's Bible Belt or a highly religious place, because
mhm,
religion plays a big part in whether people accept the LGBT community. And then what a lot of people also don't know is that some religions, when it comes down to women, they're supposed to be suppressed, like suppressive. Am I saying that right? And is it a safe way to say it? But y'all know what I mean. They're supposed to be oppressive or suppressive, and then for you to be a lesbian is really not accepted. So I think that
mhm.
in a lot of religious areas they really shine, shine away from, they don't like the LGBT community or lesbians.
Hmm. Okay.
Somebody said that.
Okay, and so let's. I guess we got. You want to continue? Yeah, you are you want to go on with your story, or
I
how?
mean, just in a nutshell, we just had to decide how we was going to bring everybody together, me and him, because again, we still taking care of our kids. He's in the relationship, I'm in the relationship. The kids' holidays, birthdays, we're doing it together, and we started leaving our significant others out, and that became an issue. And I didn't care about him meeting her. He didn't want to meet her. He just was in his feelings, like, and I honestly didn't like his mate either. So, but I didn't care about meeting her, because I actually bumped into her one day. She was at the house, and my daughter was like, such and such outside. So I walked up to her and I let her know, it's nothing with me and him. We're not together anymore. And I understand that he's with you. I respect it. And I'm just asking for the same in return. Respect me and my children, and everything is good. But he just recently, like maybe about 3 weeks ago, wanted to say, he wanted to meet my girlfriend, and he met her. And now, going forward, we're not going to keep our mates away anymore. We have to integrate, like we have to be a family for the sake of the kids, because this is what it's going to be. But I think what happened was, he one day he came to me like recently and was saying, he's getting ready to move, get another house, and it's going to be farther away. It's going to be in another city. And I flipped out, because I immediately thought that he wanted another woman to help him raise my children.
Ooh.
And he was like, you looking at this wrong. And it was my own guilt, because I don't live with them, and I know that my children, after it's all said and done, if he moved to another neighborhood, if it's better for my children, educational wise and living wise, they're going to go with him. And so that means I'm going to be absent more from their life. And then I also know that him and his significant other is going to eventually move in together. And now I have another woman raising my kids, pretty much. So that hit me hard. And I didn't know how to deal with that. Like, I fought him on that. Like, I was arguing, like, you know what, I'm moving to, and all types of crazy stuff I was going through in my head. But I had a conversation with my older brother, and he said, look, he's no more of a parent than you are. And if he could provide a better life for them, it's selfish of you to not allow him to do that. It's not like their kids are not going to be in your life. Like, so you shouldn't look at it like that. He had to give me other ways of looking at things. And, and he was right. So it hasn't happened yet. So I still have to prepare for it. I don't know how I'm going to react if it ever actually happened. But it's something that is regging up for it. So I feel like we have to come together more as a family so that I'm comfortable with that transition if it happens.
Yes. And someone wanted to know earlier, has ex-husband forgiven you and is he happy?
He was upset with me, and he said, and I had to, even though I broke things down to, you wasn't faithful. I caught you in this. We caught each other in this and the third. And he kept going back to, but I didn't leave. And I was like, but do that, make that okay? Because you would have been okay with sitting in this and just continuing to cheat on each other as long as we stayed together. Is that really? And it's always, to me, it's always easier for the man to be able to do that. But it wasn't all right with me but I think the fact that he didn't know that I was catching him doing a lot of shit, like, because I didn't say anything, because in hindsight I was doing it too. So I just didn't, for the sake of argument, I kept my mouth shut until I needed to bring all the receipts out. Like, look, you're not innocent in this. And he said, I just ignored all the red flags, and he realized, like, he was selfish, because it was all about making sure he was happy, and he was happy, so he didn't have no problems. Me, I was suffering,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, you know, we good friends now. We cool. As a matter of fact, when I cut my hair, before I cut my hair off, he was all like, "Oh yeah, we never getting back together, because I don't like that shit." And I said, "Shit, this all I had to do. Shit, I should have been cut this shit." But no, when I cut it now, we cool. Like, he showed me how to do my waves and stuff. It's like we really cool. We're in a way better place. And my daughter even said, like, y'all relationship is weird. Like, I think we're more happier because he's with a woman that literally makes him happy, I guess, all around the board. And I'm with a woman that makes me happy. Everybody go through their little things, but in a whole, I look forward to coming home and being with her every single day.
Okay, shout out to my brother Deshaun Farley. I love that. I love the man. And he has a question. He says, "Does any of you ladies feel gay males or lesbians are more accepting into certain societal normals?"
I'm not. I was reading that one. I was trying to figure out exactly what he meant by that. Is he speaking like gender roles?
Gay males or lesbians are more accepted into certain societal normals.
Um, mm,
Um,
there's the difference. I got it. He's saying, do we feel that gay males or lesbians are more accepting into societal normals, like the normal lifestyles of society? Like, you would say church, jobs, corporate America. Um,
well, nowadays I think people are scared not to.
yeah,
I
that's,
I
Yeah,
think
they're not. They're not. They're more. They're more. They do not want to shun anybody that's there. I don't think like, I don't go to work telling everybody like, yeah, I'm gay and all that shit. I don't do that because I'm coming to work to work. I don't really interact with my coworkers in that more personal level. Like, some of them know, but I don't. That's not the first thing you're gonna get from me at work. So, but
um, I would say these that, like, okay, well, of course everybody knows now, but I'm in
I
my
don't I don't think gay men are accepted that way. I mean, it depends to me. If you're like flamboyant in a corporate world, I don't think I've never seen it. I don't know if you're accepted or not because I've really never seen it, except for like on TV joking around and stuff. But in the real world, I've never seen a gay man be like, wear his shit, be flamboyant and stuff like that in the corporate world.
I think that like when I first came out, it was not as accepted. But for the past I mean maybe say 10 years, and that's just because like the LGBT community has been fighting for their rights. So I like to
Mhm.
shout out to everybody out there that actually goes to meetings and different things, because we have made some changes, and we have to like also be mindful that um like the process that people had, like for instance, I work with the ACLU in terms of the gay marriage, and bringing forth a lot of gay rights. And
Mhm.
the process is you have to talk to a lot of like religious organizations. You have to, yeah, I'm saying debate a lot of religious organizations. You have to talk to a lot uh, of organizations in general to to sort of get them to see why it should be accepted. We had to do that, and there in so this like we're responsible for like how we behave. Like
Mhm.
even though like we've gained a lot of those rights, still people are looking at the way that we behave. And it doesn't mean that 2 or 3 years, because they're still trying to take away a lot of our rights. They want to do a total turnaround with the gay marriage. They want to a lot of they want to take away a lot of our rights. So we're still responsible for how they view us.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
if you see a lot of people, if think if you're like you weren't so much for gay marriage and or LGBT marriage, and you decided to sway, or you decided to convince your congregation to vote for it.
Mhm.
And your next few encounters, your next 5 encounters are negative.
Right. Mhm.
Flamboyant or fighting, or something that's just not appropriate for appropriate. Then
Right.
that may change their decision the next time that issue comes up. So we have to be mindful of that. But these days, because of the rights that we have gained, we're a protected class, and it is a lot easier for us to coexist with
It's more unified,
yeah.
and people see that. People respect unity, and that's with anything.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on that. I had to go run to get my charger, y'all. This laptop was about to die. But I think too it depends on the industry in which you work, on how open people are to you. Cuz there are more corporations now that seem to be even more LGBT friendly. There are more, and I think like what one of y'all said is that even the thought of possible offense or shunning could potentially be an HR problem or something. So
Mhm.
it's like
Mhm.
they have to be accepting.
Right.
They have
Right.
to be open to you.
I
And I
got a I got a quick a funny story. Me and me and my partner went to a spa one day. And in this spa, women, you had to wear a bathing suit. But of course, my girl don't wear bathing suits. So she had on a t-shirt. And so when before we was going to get into the pool, the guy said, ma'am, you cannot wear that. So I said to the man, I said, she can't. She getting a sex change and everything. She can't really show. And the look on his face was like, oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. It was like he gave me no problems at all. And we laughed at that, but we was like, damn, like he was so scared to be objective, he broke the rules. He just said, fine. Like, and I'm pretty sure he probably told a whole bunch of people you can't do it. But once I said that little part, he was like, oh no, no. You go right on ahead, And it
Mhm.
was funny. We laughed at that.
So, and it does depend on our, the way that we conduct ourselves as well. So, like, to my LGBTQ family out there, keep that in mind that we're not totally free and out the gate yet, and we still have some ways to go. And so, the way that we conduct ourselves in public, or the way that we conduct ourselves, period, it does, make a difference in terms of stereotypes. But I wanted to read this from
Exactly, Yolanda. They did not want no smoke. Trust me.
I want.
I would have performed.
I wanted to read this from Really Sunshine. She said, I want to touch on the misconception that stud lesbians are supposed to be aggressive and rough. The Duchess Live rubbed me the wrong way when he mentioned that studs are supposed to be aggressive. And I want to bring that up because that, is personal, but I want to give you two the opportunity to speak on it first.
Well, I didn't watch the live that you're speaking of, but I think I said it. I done beat a dead horse right about now on this. I don't believe that anybody has to be rough and no, because that's you boxing somebody into a temperament, into
because nobody said expect gay men to be all out in the closet and doing all types of performances either. So I don't think it's fair for you to say that about women, lesbian, because at the end of the day, they're still women. They are still women. Period.
Facts. And yeah, that was a great point. It's hard to come behind that one. Like, and I'm glad you said that. And not all, because it's some good, it's some good gay guys, gay males, out here, like Deshaun, for example. He's very intelligent and he's very well balanced in his thinking, and I have not ever seen him be discriminatory, and he's very respectful. However, like a lot of gay males seem to think that, like they can dictate, or they can talk about what goes on in our lesbian community, in which, it's two different things. Lesbians are lesbians, gay males are gay males, and we have, although we're LGBTQ, we have different lifestyles. And even those, even within our different lifestyles, you have people who are individual. Like, I have my own personality. We're not robots. So, like, I'm supposed to be me first. So even as a stud or as a femme, like you're supposed to be yourself first. I personally, I've dated, a few tomboyish type femmes. And I have no problem with that. So it's not like people think. Pretty much, and once again, we go with the labels. The labels, throw people off. Pretty much the labels are like, for instance, when people say stud, it's just to say what your sexual preference is.
Right.
And like I said earlier, it doesn't mean that you can never receive, or it doesn't, vice versa. And like they're saying, at the end of the day, we're all women. But when a lot of, when people make those statements like, studs are supposed to always be aggressive and rough, that's ignorance.
That's just like a man saying, you want to act like a man, I'm gonna treat you like a man.
Right.
That's ignorance.
Right. That's ignorance. And that's discrimination, and that's stereotyping.
Right.
Then let me speak on something too. Now, like in the older times, he's probably right. There were a lot of women that used to be aggressive, meaning they were abusive towards their femme mates. However, in this day and time, just like a man, like in a domestic violence situation, the man goes to jail. 9 times out of 10, even if the man didn't start the situation, the police are 9 times out of 10 going to take the male to jail. And it's the same thing in a lesbian relationship. 9 times out of 10, the stud is going to go to jail. So these days, we're very aware of that. And so we know, like, and then just like in any situation, you have women that like to set you up. They get mad, they break up with you, then the next thing you know, the police is called and you haven't done anything. So, so you have to be, like you have to be very cautious with that. And at the end of the day, abuse is abuse. You're supposed to treat a person like you would want to be treated. And this is my last statement. And then tell me what you guys think. Like 9 times out of 10, because the stud is the giver, the stud is generally the passive person in the relationship, while the film is like generally the more aggressive person in the, not meaning like, but meaning like, like it takes charge.
And mean as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, usually because we feel like we gotta protect you. Like, we don't want nobody looking at you. We don't want, we gotta let a bitch know. Like, we are more aggressive in that tone. That's really
And then
funny. Yeah.
spoiled. And then like in terms of being spoiled as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's giving. And then
Yeah.
women know how to pout. Women know how to, a lot of so like a stud, if they love, if they're woman is spoiled, or they like to treat their woman good, then the woman is gonna get their way. And I don't know why people can't really seem to get there.
Shit, I remember the first time I had to clean my own car. I almost fucking died. Like, what? That's when I realized shit got real. Like, hold up. Like, I'm thinking, I'm gonna come out and snow and everything gonna be off my car because that's what I was used to. And my girl gave me a goddamn shovel and a fucking big ass thing. Like, here you go. I use this. And I'm like, what? So shit got real. Like, okay, fuck.
Okay. So BB, I'm gonna let you go ahead because we don't want to hold everybody up too long.
Okay.
And
I do want to appreciate everybody for listening. I didn't want it to be overdrawn. I think this was a good topic. I would love to do more topics like this, even if I'm not on. I'm always gonna be in the chat and stuff. And I support you, QI. I like what you're doing. I thank you, Jay Dunn. I always watch you. I don't comment a lot, but I always watch you. I've been watching you for a minute. So, and I just want us to support each other, all of us, because we need each other. And it's not always about the mess. We can have nice topics and discussions and just enjoy each other company. So thanks for everybody who came out and was listening. And that's really it. I gotta go to bed, y'all. I gotta get up in the morning.
Right.
Shit.
And
All right.
Jaydan, do you have any final statements, or by all means go ahead and promote your channel?
Oh, well, I just want to say it's been a nice discussion. It was nice looking at the chat, being able to hear the different points of view, and just the fact that it's the feminine person, it's a stud person, and it's somebody on here that's like, don't put no label on me.
Right.
It made it an even and balanced discussion, so I appreciate it. Thank you, BB Nice, for sharing your
And
story.
be true to yourself. It can't work if you got children and everything. Be true to yourself. Like, when we're a certain age and life is short. You have to live and be happy. You cannot be trying to satisfy everybody else, because somebody's gonna have a problem no matter what you do. So it's just all about being happy, be respectful, and love who you are. It makes a difference. When you're hiding, when you don't love who you are, you can see it. Misery is always looking for a bestie. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, QI, I just wanted to say one other thing. Thank you for allowing me to co-host with you. That was my best thing.
Thank
And
you.
I'm
Thank
glad
you too for that opportunity, QI.
No problem. And I'm glad that you two brought that up, because we're gonna, both of you I'm hoping will come back on for different topics, whether it be LGBTQ or not. And we're gonna have also sometimes some males. So if there are any males out there, if y'all have any suggestions, especially in terms of dealing with the LGBTQ community, or any other suggestions dealing with anything that would be positive and possibly uplifting to the community, by all means, my great moderator Melissa is dropping my email in the chat. Write that email down, and feel free to email me, and and I'll be glad to bring you on bring you on, and we'll have a discussion, or possibly educate and cover some other topics as well. I like to tell everybody, make sure you smash that like button. I like to make sure you subscribe, and make sure by all means you share this video. And
Yeah.
I think that today has been great. And, I hope that, I'll get some suggestions and things in terms of other things that people are interested in. And if there are any further questions for BB Nice, feel free to add that to the comment section, and maybe we'll bring her on for a part 2. And Jay Don and I are going to collaborate. We still haven't done that stud panel yet, and we're almost there. So that's still up and coming. And Jay Don, of course, is going to be one of the panel members as well. So if any other studs out there are interested, by all means write down that email and hit me up. And we're gonna come on here and give people more perspective of what it's like to be the life of a stud as well.
All right, guys.
All
Good
right.
night.
Good night. And films as well. So just hit me up and we'll work on it. But peace, family, and I'll see you next time. Good night.
Bye, y'all.